Hello beauties, and welcome back to the Bumpy Bones Locksport channel. So in today's video, we're going to pick open and gut an alpha core here that I have, and it's housed in an Anchorlast 510 switch padlock here. So I'm also going to walk through how we can disassemble this padlock as well. So let's go and get started. Now, this was a very fun and challenging lock for me to learn. It is a 6-pin lock, and it's got a version of barrel pins in it. Now, it's not the barrel pins that you would find in like the ASA Max Plus Restricted, which is the purple belt level lock. This lock here ranges from anywhere from a green belt to a purple belt. And actually, let's take a look at the Belt Explorer, because I'm not 100% sure what ranking this lock is. I'm going to assume that it's the green belt because there is no milling in it, but it's a 6-pin, and the pictures with the green belt here are 5-pin and all that. So, and also a different keyway and all that. So, if we take a look at the pins here are the barrel pins that I was kind of talking about. So they're kind of like a serrated spool in some ways. It's definitely a fun pin to pick and all of that. But this is a 6-pin version. If we take a look at the Alpha P Extra here, the keyway on this sort of matches the keyway that I have. But the problem is one of the features on this is overmilling, and this lock does not have the overmilling in it. So I don't think it is the P Extra. I think it is more resembling of like the AP 1000 or some variation of it. So at least for what I am going to assume, this is going to probably be kind of around the green belt version. But if anybody does have any information on this lock here, and there's kind of the keyways so that you can see it, I would greatly appreciate you posting in the comments any information that you would have about this lock here and all that. So let's go ahead and get started here. So let me go ahead and grab my keys here, and we're going to go ahead and just show that it is working and all of that. Now, I recently got another alpha one. Again, I'm kind of in the same boat with this guy here, where it doesn't have the overmilling in it, but the keyway on this guy is even funkier and all of that. It's definitely a lot more paracentric. We got this warding here that blocks the key pin, so this is what I'm working my way towards right now. This is a nice open keyway that I can definitely use one of my 0.4 millimeter picks and just go right in through the bottom and not have to worry about it and all that. So let's go ahead and get this mounted. And let me go ahead and turn on my side camera here. And the tools I'm going to use, I'm going to use a custom top of the keyway turner. And what's going to happen is that's going to fit right in here really nicely and all of that. And then I am going to use the Multipick Elite. This is the V57, which I think is the medium flat hook. And this is the 0.4 millimeter version of it. And I'm going to kind of use heavy tension, but I'm going to alternate the tension as I am picking. So you're going to be seeing me kind of doing a springy action here as I'm picking. So let's go ahead and get started here. And so I'm going to kind of work my way towards the back because I got some good clicks there. And this is a very clicky lock. All right, so I got some good clicks there. And work my way towards the back. All right, let's go towards the front here. No clicky there, no clickies there. Again, this has been kind of a very challenging lock. I gotta go between heavy pressure and light pressure with it. Usually by now, oh, here we go. I got a nice binding one here. All right, got a good click there. Let's go check number 1 here. Nope. Number 2, 3, nope. 4. All right, I'm going to reset because this is not behaving the way it has in practice. Gotta love it when it does that. All right, so let's go ahead and just work our way through this here. So, all right, so I'm going to start with 1, nothing on 1, nothing on 2, nothing on 3, 4, 5. Do a little springy action. I may have overset something. All right, there we go. Gotta click. All right, there we go. Now the last one's binding. Number 6 is binding here. All right, so we got some nice clicks there. Number 1's not binding yet. Number 3 is. Got some good clicks there. All right, now number 1's binding. All right, awesome. Got a nice little soft click out of 1. Now number 2 is binding. Got a nice click out of 2. All right, now is where I really got to kind of do the trampoline and. All right, 1 dropped again. All right, got a nice click there, but the pin 6 dropped. All right, which means pin 1 dropped. But I'm getting a lot more binding out of 2 here. All right, 2 drop pin, or not this set, I think. See what we got going on here. But 6 dropped again. 6 likes to drop. And then when I have to set 6, I gotta come back and check 1. All right, here's a binding 1. Getting close. I can feel I'm getting close. Aha, there we go. And we are open. All right, so let's go ahead and gut, and let me just go ahead and just move some stuff out of the way here so that way I can actually see what I'm doing. Oops, I don't want to turn this light off because that's giving me some extra light, so let's move that up there. All right, so let me get my pinning tray. So to open up an anchor loss, there's a couple of tools that we need. All right, if we pop off the little cap here, we're going to notice this is where the retention screws are for our cylinder, but we notice that there's a ball bearing here, and that's so that you can't just pop this off and unscrew this while this is on a lock, anything like that. So in order to get this ball bearing out, there's a grub screw here that we have to get out, and to get that out, you have to have the lock open. And we need to grab a Allen wrench here, and I think this is the Allen wrench that will work. Feels like it's working. Yep. And so you can see that grub screw right there. And so as we unscrew that, that's going to allow us to remove that ball bearing. Now we can reach the retention screws here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my other wrench here and get this unscrewed. And this will free up the core or allow us to remove the cylinder and all that. Now, I really like anchor last padlocks right now. In fact, you can see I've collected quite a few of them. What's really cool about these, oops, and I am having a hard time gripping this guy while talking, is that with the Euro cylinder ones, you can swap these around. So I can take another Euro cylinder that I've got and throw that in here pretty easily and all of that. So, all right, so we've got our core out. Let's go ahead and get this off now. This does have a brass C-clip on the back here that we've got to kind of pry off. So let me grab my hooks here and let me bend this out. I don't want to go too far with it because I don't have any replacement for these clips yet. I'm trying to find some good replacements for these, so... Alright, I think I can remove that. Yep, there we go. Alright, so we've got that, and what I am going to do is grab a shim and throw that in here because I've learned my lesson many times where I don't shim a lock, and especially with this guy because I can't remove the little metal piece here that interacts with the actuator in our padlock. So I don't want to have pins drop in there. So I am going to shim that. And I think this power will work. I can go, oh, let's go ahead and use it. There we go. All right. 2, 4, it's actually, I have to make a correction here. This is not a 6-pin lock. This is a 7-pin lock, and so this is why I am not sure if this is a green belt, blue belt, or what, because we've got 7 pins in here. So let's go ahead and dump our pins here. Now, what is kind of cool with this lock is we do have these little steel pins here. They're the anti-drill pins. We're going to go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and get this lock here, or that pin there. Let's get this pin out. I really like this pinning mat because I can just drop my pins right in the area here, and the texture of the mat prevents the pins from bouncing around a lot. So I don't have to worry so much as to losing them and all of that. So, all right, so there are our pins. And as we can see in the core here, we don't have any of that countermilling in the core. Let me get a nice close shot here of the core. Or that overmilling and all of that. So that's why I don't think it's a blue belt version, because the blue belt does say overmilling on it. So, all right, let's go ahead and grab our security pins here. So we're going to go ahead and do this. Now, if this did have the milling in it, that definitely would make this a lot more challenging of a pick. I mean, in my book, these security pins definitely are a bit more on the challenging side, just because they are bouncy and you get a lot of clicky on them, especially with the big ones. All right, and then let's go ahead and drop that. All right, so here are the security pins, and here's a close-up of our pins. And, as we can see, there's really not much here that is, we got standard key pins. The key pins aren't, serrated or torpedoed or spooled or anything like that. It's just these security pins that are a bit of the pain in the butt when it comes to the lock and all that. So, but I was really surprised that this was a 7-pin because if we take a look at our key here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7th pin rests on the outer edge of the key here, which I have not seen done in a lot of locks in that. So that's why when I was looking at the lock originally, I'm like, oh, this is the 6 pin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, I don't really ever look at having a key pin right at the nose or at the tip of the key. All right, so let's go ahead and throw this guy back together here, just so I can show you how you reassemble the anchor loss 510 switch here. So let's go ahead and get our key pins in, and let's go ahead and do this. Now, sometimes with these alphas, you'll notice on the side of the core there are holes as well. When I initially got this lock, there were some discs or some pins in here, but they don't interact with the key. There is no, or there are some holes in the side of our cylinder here. So actually, let me drop our springs so I don't lose them. And let's see if we can get these on video here. So yeah, so you can see there are some divots in the side of our Bible, our casing here. Um, and I'm not quite sure what the purpose of those are. I never really had to interact with those when I had the pin in there. I couldn't quite get the pin back in there in a way that it worked. I think what that is to hold the core in place vertically. When there's no key in there, or when you have the key, it kind of holds it a little bit stiffer. I'm thinking that's kind of the mechanic with it. It's really not a mechanic that go into the locking mechanism in that. So I didn't put those back in because they were a pain in the butt when I initially gutted this lock. Um, but all right, so let's go ahead and let me get my springs kind of organized here now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't want to lose any of them. All right, so let's go ahead and get our key pins back in place. And as always, whenever I'm rekeying a lock, I always want to make sure I got the order of those pins right. So yep, we got that right. And actually, I do want to grab a pair of pliers here as well. Put those there for right now. All right, so let's go ahead and get our springs back into our Bible. Nice thing about, and I may have said Euro cylinders before, this is actually a Scandinavian core or cylinder. And I really like these. I mean, you know, the oval cylinders and all that are kind of one of my favorites. They're easy to throw in the vise. You don't need to have them in the padlock. They're easy to gut. And actually, what you can do with these is you can drill out the caps here pretty easily and grub screw them. You have a lot of room in the Bible here to accommodate grub screws and all of that. So these are kind of like one of my favorite locks to work with and all of that. So, all right. So now that we got our springs in there, let me see if the other. Nope, too big. All right. Let's go ahead and throw in some of our security pins. And I'm actually going to kind of do this like this so that I get the last 3 in place here. And I actually almost made a big mistake there because this is actually pin 5 that I'm starting with. I'm going backwards here, so gotta keep an eye on that. All right, so we got that. Got 6. I do it this way, especially when I'm dealing with like a 7-pin core, because then those pins hold my power in place. And so when I'm now going from the middle outward or to the front, it just makes it so much easier getting our pins in place here. All right, so we got that, and then here's pin one, or yeah, pin one. A bit smaller, so this one's giving me a bit more of a pain. There we go. All right, so we're all in place. Let's go ahead and put in our shim. Go ahead and throw this guy in. Get our shim out. Lock up the core. Let's go ahead and put on our retaining clip just because I want to make sure that when I test this, we don't accidentally pull the core out. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and test this real quick. All right, there we go, it's working. So let's go ahead and throw this back in place here. Now, we do need to keep the key in for this part because we do have to have this rotated 90 degrees because this is open. We could close it, but we're just going to go ahead and let that go. And let's go ahead and screw this in here. Oops. Yeah, these little 510s are pretty nice. You know, if I went to the gym more, or if I had a locker at a gym, I would probably use this on my gym locker just because, you know, it's a nice thin shackle. It's an easy to replace core. I've got several different cores I can put in here. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to drop in our ball bearing here. So let me go ahead and grab that. That goes into this hole here. And let's go ahead and screw our grub screw back in. You don't need to go too tight with it because it is held in place by the shackle, so that won't come out. And there we go. And that is reassembled. Now, I did notice something a little bit different with this. And, oh, I know why. So notice, there's a couple different ways that you can do this. And this is another really kind of cool thing about this lock. So you can see I'm rotating this around all the way here. But when I initially went to unlock it, it would only go 90 degrees. That's because I didn't screw in the grub screw all the way. So let me do that, get that in further, because that grub screw also acts as the block for over-rotating the key and all of that. So there we go with that. Let's go ahead and lock this guy back up. There we go. And what we can do is throw our cap back on, and our lock is fully reassembled. So I hope you all found this video interesting and enjoyable. This is definitely a lock that I would recommend playing with. At least those security pins, they are a very fun security pin. So as always, do feel free to like and comment on my videos and subscribe to my channel. And I hope everyone has a beautiful day.